Thank you for staying with us. We now have joining us the National Publicity Secretary, NNPP, Ladipo Johnson. Ladipo, it's good to have you as always on the news. Is this the last we might be hearing from this particular parliament on the debate on single term, or do you expect a reintroduction before their tenure is over?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Well, I'm not a clairvoyant, but this matter has come up several times, so it is possible that it will be raised again when I think the members of the House of Representatives that wish to bring it on board again do their homework more thoroughly. It's something that has gone on since President Obasanjo's time, if you recall, 1979, 2000, no, not 1979, 2003 and thereabouts. We've had that conversation several times, but it hasn't gained ground, and I think that they need to bring up more or better reasons why they think that is the way we should go. A lot of people feel that we're grappling with what we have now, and that we need to sort that out before we now change to that. What is a shame is what I believe in is the elections on the same day. It will save costs, I believe, etc., having all the presidential, gubernatorial, and whatever elections on the same day. So maybe they might have to remove some parts of the bill and what have you, tinker with it, and then bring it back, as you said.
Let's establish if you are an advocate for a single-term leadership at any level in this country, and then perhaps you could talk to us about the pros and cons of a single. I mean, you mentioned already reduction in the costs and constitutional review. Some of the, I don't know what the argument is on that one, but just give us your perspective.
Well, personally speaking, I'm even more radical. I believe that we might need to go back to the parliamentary system. By the time this country is totally broke, if the country as an entity were an individual, we would have declared bankruptcy by now. The presidential system of government is so expensive to run. And with the 36 states that we have, it becomes, you all know, I mean, they're just trying to borrow again.
Don't you think the parliamentary conversation is, system of governance is not going to find, because, I mean, I can't remember correctly now, but I think there was a conversation by some lawmakers at some point earlier this year about, thinking about the parliamentary system of governance, but that's not going now.
No, it won't go. It won't go yet. It will come as of necessity. It will come as of necessity. You see, the Nigerians love executive power. So those in power at the moment would not like to reduce their powers, if you get my drift, as we say. So it will come as of necessity. When Nigerians begin to realize that the form of government we run is too expensive, the recurrent expenditure that each state government, each local government, the presidential, the presidency, the recurrent expenditure for Senate, for reps, and what have you. We're spending so much.
Isn't the single tenor suggestion a middle point per se? If you're looking at the cost of governance and all of that, you still haven't answered I mean, we don't have the parliamentary system on the table. What we have on the table at this moment is single tenor. So I'd like you to speak on that.
Well, for me, I am not too keen on the single tenor, 6 years single tenor. I'm not too keen on that. I don't think there's anything wrong with 2 4-year terms. And I just believe that several things have to be done, cost of governance wise, etc. And then see how we move forward, especially with the individual or the party running the government and the policies that they bring out at each point in time. I keep telling people policies that might be good for today might not be good in 4 years' time. So that is what we have to look at. Now, the other thing they were talking about is the issue of rotational presidency. That again, um, I am of the school that it makes you lose the ability to choose the very best. It might be that the best at a particular time is from Warri, and then we say, no, it's come to the south, it must go to the north. But these things are there because we still have a lot of ethnicity, ethnic bigotry, religious bigotry going on in the country.
I mean, that's you can't evaluate or talk about the Nigerian polity without talking about our diversity. So if you say, I mean, you're arguing the point of rotational presidency against it, but other persons will also have valid points why they feel that that sense of belonging is even more important at some point than saying, I mean, does it mean that the only competence can be from one part of the country?
I agree with you, but that is when the primary purpose is that it is our turn. There is a national cake. What if we get to where we should be? That the job of governance is just to make sure that there is an environment for the average citizen to thrive, for his standard of living to increase, for the cost of living to decrease. You understand? If we get to that stage, then I assure you, you wouldn't care where Mr. President is from or Mrs. President, as long as things are being done and your business is flourishing. But because we've had bad governance, that is why people are insisting, it's like, oh, it's our turn. The Senate president must come to our community because it's going to be able to pull to that community so-called constituency projects, etc., etc.
So I wish we had more time, really. This is an intriguing subject that I would really have loved to speak with you about, but hopefully some other time. Thank you, as always, for speaking with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.